Hello guys, welcome back to another video of mine. Before I get into it, I just want to apologise for not having a preview for the game out. I've just been up to my eyes at work and, just it's been taking up a lot of my time and I just didn't have enough time to get the preview out. So I do apologise for that, but getting into the review now, obviously this is the review of the Manchester United 4, Chelsea 0 game yesterday. I think there's a lot of things we need to discuss in this. There's some positives, some negatives, and just a lot of lessons that need to be learned from this game, and that we as Chelsea fans need to readjust our expectations for this season. Now, going into the game, I had a feeling we'd lose. I knew we'd lose. I know Manchester United, I know we finished ahead of them last year and won more trophies than them, but this is a completely different season. They were able to do business in the transfer market. We weren't, so they were able to strengthen their squad, which was already strong enough. So they already had the advantage there. And the fact that their team that they put out yesterday was a lot stronger than ours. So we were already the underdogs going into this game. Weeks before the game, days before, and even the lineup. When the lineups were announced, I kind of had this feeling that this could be a long afternoon. So the starting lineup was Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta right back, Zuma and Christensen, the two centre backs, Emerson at left back. Midfield three was Jorginho, Kovacic and Barkley. And the front line was Pedro, Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount. Now that's a very, very inexperienced side. And we were kind of very much pinning our hopes on the young players producing miracles and, trying to get a result for us at Old Trafford against Manchester United, which even with your, experienced players out on the pitch is a difficult thing to do. So we were really, really asking for a lot. But getting into the game, for the first 20-25 minutes of that game, we were by far the better team. Had all the ball, created all the chances. Tammy Abraham hit the post. If that goes in, it could be a completely different game because that's 1-0 up. We have the initiative. We have something to defend and they have to come at us, which maybe could have led to a whole switch in the dynamic of play because United did us on the counter-attack for a good 2 or 3 of the goals yesterday. And it could have been the other way around if we'd taken the lead early. But that hits the post. We had another couple of chances. Barkley had a shot which went wide. Emerson hit the crossbar. We had De Gea made a few saves, albeit straight at him, but still had to make them. So it's it's a whole the theory of perspective that we could have easily been 1-0 up at half time, but we weren't. United were 1-0 up, and that was through a penalty from Marcus Rashford. This really did grind my gears last night when I was really wound up after the game. Being a defender myself, obviously not at the level, but the first thing you're told as a defender, when you're in the box, or if there's a attacking player one-on-one with you in the box, you stay on your feet. You do not dive in, particularly anywhere on the pitch, unless you know for certain that you're going to get the ball. And especially in the box, you have to get the ball. There is no other way. And Zuma didn't. He dived in, completely swiped Rashford off his feet. It was a clear penalty, and I was tearing my hair out of my head because I was so frustrated about that. Rashford steps up, scores the penalty, and that's 1-0. And it stayed 1-0 to half time, and I was thinking, okay, we're still very, very much in this game. All we need to do, because we've been creating chances, we just need to take one of them, and we're back in this game, and the whole dynamic switches. But we didn't. We went 2-0 down about 15-20 minutes into the second half. Poor defending. Again, a lot of our goal, what I noticed and what I've kind of realised now that I've let the dust settle and kind of rewatched the game, all of United's goals came from our mistakes. They were all easily could have been avoided. So the second goal was a ball across the box. I can't remember who played it across. I'm 90% sure. It was played across the face of goal. It completely evaded everyone. Anthony Martial was there to he just got a toe on it, went through the keeper's legs, and that was 2-0. And that was the killer blow. That's why I said as soon as it got to 2-0, I felt that was the game over because we had a mountain to climb and we are going to throw everything at Manchester United with the likes of Martial, Rashford on the break. They're very quick and we don't have the quickest defenders, so I knew we were in trouble from that point on. And then literally about 3 minutes later, Pogba gets a ball, plays it over the top, Rashford is in 3-0, and I said, okay, this is where we just need to kind of just accept that we've lost and just shut up, don't concede anymore, have a little bit of pride. And then with 10 minutes left, it was 4-0. Daniel James scored on his debut. It was a very, very fortunate goal. He went up, the first time he went to take the shot, he completely missed the ball, and then the second one he took a shot and it deflected off Emerson and went the wrong side of Kepa and went in. 4-0, and that was it. Game over, 4-0. But to be honest, 4-0 is never a good scoreline to lose, but I don't think 4-0 is a fair reflection of the game. I think we were the better team for good periods in that game. United were just more clinical, they were quicker on the counter-attack, and that's just the story how it was, that's how the game was. I don't think 4-0 was a fair reflection. I think maybe 2-0, maybe 1 or 2-0 was probably fair enough. I don't think we deserved to win, but I don't think we deserved to lose by that heavy of a scoreline. And it's a difficult one to take because last night I was in a really crappy mood for the rest of the evening because I was just very, very disappointed. Not that I had high expectations, it's just never nice to, when you're excited for a season, first game of the season, you don't want to lose 4-0 because it doesn't really help with confidence. But a couple of things that I want to say about the team. I felt the lineup was... Personally, I would have started Kante and Pulisic. I think we needed Kante in that midfield to kind of cope with the likes of Rashford and Martial breaking with pace, because I reckon Kante is more than capable of holding his own against them in terms of keeping up with pace and stuff like that. I think I would have started Pulisic, I don't know, maybe over Mason Mount, I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Things took it out of me yesterday watching the game, but I think Mason Mount, he did okay. Yeah, he was very, he was... He didn't steal the show, but for his age and his first ever senior appearance for Chelsea, he more than held his own. If anything, I probably would have started Pulisic ahead of Pedro because Pedro was very poor yesterday. That's the thing I have with Pedro. Pedro can really turn it on when it matters, and there is a football player in there. He's proven it. He's won everything at Barcelona and won a few trophies with us. So there is a footballer in there. It's just, I think he's, 32, 33 now. He's really getting on a bit, and this is where we need to be investing in new wingers. And we had one on the bench, and I reckon he should have played. I would have started Pulisic last night. He came on, but we were 2-0 down, or we were 2 or 3-0 down. What do you expect him to do? And as I mentioned, I would have started Kante. And another thing yesterday is that we have so many players injured. We have about 5 or 6 senior players injured. That is half a team. Rudiger's injured, Loftus-Cheek is injured, Reece James is injured, Hudson-Odoi is injured. These are all players that would be in and around or would be starting, and they were injured. And I reckon if they had been playing and fully fit, it could have been a completely different scoreline. And I reckon we would have scored at least 1 or 2 with some of those influential, creative, attacking players in the team. But, this is all ifs and buts. These are all things that, we have to take into consideration, that we're missing a lot of first-team players. It was a very youthful squad. We did play well in patches, and it is still only the first game of the season. But all that aside, we still did lose 4-0. It's Chelsea Football Club, we're the most successful club in England over the past 15 years. There are certain standards that have to be met, and I know Manchester United are a good team, but I don't care who we're playing. For a club of our stature, we should not be losing 4-0. But what can I say? It's finished now. We can put it in the back of our mind. It's in the past. It doesn't get any easier now. We have Liverpool in the Super Cup on Wednesday, and to be honest, expecting to lose again. I'm kind of, preparing myself for the fact that we will lose, and we just have to focus on Leicester on Sunday. Next week, we need to win that game. We cannot lose 2 opening Premier League games in a row. We need to win against Leicester on Sunday. I think as much as I really want to win the Super Cup on Wednesday, I think we're clutching at straws if we're trying to think, oh, we might win this battle, or, you know, such and such might help. We'll give it our best, and I'll support them for the 90 minutes, and hopefully we'll pray to God that we can win the Super Cup. But I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm expecting the worst, and hopefully we can, you know, win the game against Leicester on Sunday and get back on track, because if we can perform a miracle and beat Liverpool on Wednesday and beat Leicester, then you look, we have the likes of Norwich and Sheffield United and Wolves, those kind of teams coming up. We could be building towards something if we can, you know, cut out the stupid mistakes that we made, the likes of Zuma diving in when he shouldn't, being caught out on the counter-attack, which you need to prepare for. It's the mistakes that can be rectified, because nearly all of Manchester United's goals yesterday came from our errors. So if we can cut that out, and, you know, Manchester United are one of the better teams we will face in the Premier League this season, so the opposition will get better at times, but more often than not will be more capable of beating. So we need to look at the positives. As I said, for this season, I don't have any expectations. If we get in and around the top 6, 7th or 8th, okay, I'll accept that. Maybe a bit of a cup run, you know, Champions League, it all depends if we get in our group. Maybe if we get out of the group, that'd be great. There's no expectations of the season. I'm not pinning any hopes on winning anything or getting top 4. We just have to take it as it comes. Understand that this is a process, this is a learning curve, this is something that's never been experienced at Chelsea. We've never gone with a manager with such little experience. We've never had a squad this young and with, you know, such inexperience. This is a process. We knew when Lampard was appointed, we knew when we had this transfer ban that we couldn't replace the likes of Eden Hazard and, you know, and with the likes of, you know, Mason Mount and, you know, Tammy Abraham and Reece James when he comes back from injury. They have no real Premier League experience. So it's a whole new process for us, and we're just going to have to ride out this first season or two, because it's going to be a struggle. I'm fully aware of that, and I know what to expect. And maybe in the third season we can start buying players, and these young players have got enough, you know, experience under their belt that we can, you know, start challenging for trophies again. But this season and potentially next, expect the worst and just be happy with whatever we can get. So that's all I have to say for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here or you enjoy the content, and I will have the preview for the Super Cup out tomorrow. I'll get that video out tomorrow, and let's hope for the best. So I'll see you tomorrow for the preview. Take care.